Welcome back, Source Nation. Now here's your host, Kathy B.
Welcome back, Source Nation. Welcome back. You're listening live right here on the Ladies Lounge. I am your host, Kathy B. We have about an hour before we lose the live feed. Telephone number to reach us tonight is 619-924-0933. Again, 619-924-0933. Well, you guys know that I am so excited because I have another group of young ladies coming back to us with a great book. You know, here on the Ladies Lounge, we often talk about our life's journeys, and what I love most about getting together with some amazing and powerful women is the fact that we are all dealing with several things in our lives, and the journeys that we have led have caused us to become very transparent. And when you are transparent, little do you know, your story may be uplifting someone who may have experienced the same thing that you have, or maybe going through what you have gone through at that precise moment, and you are the ultimate blessing for them to triumph over. So I love the fact that I had the opportunity to meet some amazing and wonderful women that are doing some great things within their cities and their communities. And I have another young lady that is coming in tonight, definitely going to give us some great information. But before I introduce her to you, I want to let you all know, because if you're coming in on the second half of the show, you are now going to hear another great story. But these are a group of young ladies now that are authors that are telling their life story. So just let me give you a little bit of a premise of the book, and that way you'll be able to understand what it is that we're actually doing right here in the lounge. Now, this particular book is designed to feature women who are using their gifts for the greater good, taking their gifts beyond the boundaries of their own zip code and being intentional about inspiring others by sharing their stories, their lessons, and their knowledge. Each contributing author will share the story about how they discovered their unique gift or calling in spite of life's distractions, what challenges they may face along the way, walking in their greatness. I love it. How they find the drive and focus to commit to process the most pivotal lessons that they have learned, what fears they have had to face, and how they now begin to use their gifts to impact others as well as inspire. Well, say no more, because I have another young lady here in the studio with me that is going to give us some great information and definitely share her journey with us. I'm going to be speaking with Mrs. Margo Lovett. I do believe that Margo's in the studio with me. Margo, hello and welcome to the Ladies Lounge. How are you this evening?
I am wonderful, Kathy B. I am so glad to be here with you and your audience. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity and invitation. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Well, we are happy to have you here as well. And what we do here, Margo, here in the Ladies Lounge, we have a moment to where you can now begin to introduce yourself, because guess what? I've already put out there that you are here in the studio with me, but I didn't put too much. So if you will, if you could just share with the ladies here in the lounge and the Source Nation family a little about you, that would be great.
All right. My name is Margo Lovett, and I am a proud baby boomer. I always let everybody know that. This time last year, Kathy, I live in Southern California, and I was hopping from one game show to the next. I have a background in, as far as passion goes, as far as broadcasting, that type of thing. But so many things happened in my life in the last couple of years until it was just easier to just drop everything and to go from one game show during the day to the next game show. But long story short, I found out that once you have a passion and there's something in you that you absolutely must do, those seeds are inside and they're just waiting for an opportunity to come out. So one day, the game shows, it just got old and there was no life there. And I was reminded of how much I love doing interviews and that type of thing. And I was connected with a mentor who helped me grow a radio show into her business, her voice, her conversation. And it's no longer just a passion play. It is a catalyst for other baby boomers to become authors, speakers, and entrepreneurs because I use this platform as a link to mentors, somebody that they can work with, a strategist. I found, Kathy, that sometimes before you can become a reinvented one, which is what I've done, you actually have to go to a therapist or something. I said it. Yes, I'm very transparent. I said it. You have to really take on that posture. But whatever you need to do, on Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation, that's what it's all about. That's what we do. That's how I link people up so that they can reinvent themselves. I did it. Everybody else can do that also. Different pace, but it sure can be done. It's something that I love. It's the work of my life, and I'm just very happy. I'm very, very happy with it.
Awesome. I love that. You said some amazing things there, Margo, and what I love most is the fact when you said when you have to reinvent yourself. And I find that to be very important, especially when you're in the area of transitioning. Mm-hmm. When you are transitioning, that could be an area of blessed opportunity, or it can be an area of complete and utter fear and fear. Mm-hmm. Just mm-hmm. fearful of what is going to take place from there. So let's begin with being able to reinvent yourself. And why is it so important? Not only that, why are people fearful of being able to reinvent themselves? What are your thoughts about that?
My thought is, and I can only speak I decided anytime I speak on something, it's from where I have been. I quit my job after 26 years at one corporation. Things got a little bit over the top for me, so I ended up quitting. And that was scary in itself, but I knew that I had run into some health challenges. So I think, just from what I know, is that you have to always stay in a position of reinvention. Listen to your gut, because we are people who are able to do more than one thing in this life. And I happen to know that we can do many different things, and we should always be walking down that path. Should it be time to walk away from that job, when that time comes up, when it's time for you to write that book, when the time comes up for you and it's time for you to become that business owner, then your mind is in line with what you know that you're supposed to do. We oftentimes don't want to do it because we are fearful. We're used to that paycheck. We are used to that approval. When you've worked on a job for 26 years like myself, I found out that you even identify, most of your identity goes with that title or that company or that phone number or that zip code or that routine of driving on the 405 to get to the office every day. Mm-hmm. We just become so very familiar. But I know for a fact that our gut, our lives will always tell us what else. It'll alert us to what else we're able to do. We should pay attention to it, because especially as baby boomers, a lot of us, we are going to have to think outside of the box. Jobs will get rid of you. Places are shutting down. Reorgs are always coming up. Are you sure that there's always going to be a place for you? So especially on the second end or third end or fourth end of your life, are you sure that you want to be forced out rather than have a plan B, C, D, E, F, G for yourself? Mm-hmm. I think that after a certain amount of time, you owe it to yourself to have your plan in hand and work it, just in case.
Right. That's right. And I want to go back to something, because at times, Margo, we really don't think about the ABCD plan. Mm-hmm. Basically, just as you stated you were with your particular profession for 26 years. I've been in broadcasting for 24. So at that particular time, I was tired. I grew very tired, and things were changing, and of course, the company that I worked for, they didn't want to renew my contract. So I knew that something was going to happen. So I eventually ended up leaving. And in my mind, I wanted to do something totally different because, like I said, I had grown tired of something that I had been doing since graduating from college, and wanted to take a different path. The one thing for me is that, you know, I am a very spiritual person. So whenever I make any type of decision, I pray on it and I talk to God about it. And this particular decision that I was making, of course, it was a little bit on my own, but I knew whatever I was going to do, God was going to bless it. Well, this particular thing that I chosen, God said, no, you're not going to do that. You're not ready for that. And I'm like, huh? You know, and he stopped me. He stopped me and said, no, that's not what I have for you. What I have for you is you need to go back. And I'm like, go back where? And it was going back to media. And I'm like, I ain't going back to them folks over there. No, can't do that. I don't know why you're telling me that. But it was to start my own. And now, because he was giving me a platform to where I can have my own voice, where I can now begin to tell the stories that I could not tell in the 24 years that I had been working in the media, now you're going to do it the way that it needs to be done. I just prepared you in that season. Now it's time for you to soar.
What
so
a story.
I want to talk about that. Talk about
Girl,
that. See?
I love it.
Thank you. So I want to talk about that because we have ladies right now that are listening that were probably where I was and where you were, you know, because, again, I didn't have a plan. I was just going off the fact that my passion was interior design, so I was going to go to somebody's school so I could at least, you know, pick up some tips based off of what I already knew. That's what my plan was, which probably wasn't a solid plan if I told someone, but I didn't care. You know, that's what I was going to do. But with that being said, let's talk to those women that are trying to figure out, okay, I don't have no plan, but this is what I want to do, and I'm scared. What are your thoughts?
My first thought is write it down. Write down what you would really like to do. Give yourself permission to be wide open to what you'd like to do. Now, I have a friend who's still working in corporate, and she says she's going for her bachelor's. She's going for her master's. Well, she doesn't even have the associate's yet. But what I found is when you write it down and you can align how much time you're willing to invest in what you have written down, the reality versus what you have written down, can you measure, are you willing to invest in what you have written down actually? How much time is involved? Are you sure, I'm saved also, are you sure that this is what the path that God has for you? So I always say write it down because then that makes it plain, it makes it clear, it takes on a life that you can look at, hang it up on the wall and visit it a time or two. Don't quit that job right away. Hang it up on the wall and take a look at that. And then consult a mentor, a strategist, a life coach. I would run it past somebody who can help you line up those thoughts because when you're over the top or you're thinking about making a change, you have to mix in what's real. I have a mortgage. I have a car payment. Can I really walk off of this job? No, I can't. Can I go part-time? Maybe I can't. But can I volunteer somewhere and get some information? Can I work on this business after hours? Can I mentor with somebody on the weekend? Myself, I would write it down and then hire myself a life coach, a strategist, somebody who can take another look at it. But I would hire them, somebody who's working in the area that I aspire to move into, like broadcasting. When it was a passion for me, had I known you, I would have got in contact with you, ran some things past you're the expert, your expertise. And then you take that information in because there's so many moving parts that we just don't see.
Oh, yeah.
But man, don't squelch what you're feeling. You know that you want to make that change. You know that you want to reinvent yourself. Don't downplay it. Don't act as though you can't do it. Find somebody who can help you fine-tune those thoughts. That's what my radio show was all about, and my chapter in the book. That's what it's all about. I am to connect women and men with the experts who can give insight, and they can work with folks and come out so that they're successful, whatever their final decision is. But I can't stress it enough. Kathy, you know what? I want people to listen to what that yearning is going on inside. Don't just say, I got 5 kids, I can't. No, listen to it. Because maybe you can't do anything about it right here, right now, but trust me, it's going to come back around. Nurture that thing. And when the time is right, it'll be just like a business plan. It'll be sitting there waiting for you, and it'll say, yeah, I knew you were going to come on back, and you were going to visit me, and you were going to make me real. Because that's exactly what happened to me. It will happen for you.
Yes, it will. It will. And definitely we speak about passion and purpose here on this platform and taking it very seriously. Just as I said with mine, I'm like, no, I'm not going back, don't want to do it anymore. But looking back after making that decision and understanding that God was not going to let that go, he wanted me to do it. The last 5 years, I have told people that have asked me about what it is that we're doing, and I've said, you got to understand, I've been doing this for 24 years, but with that, the last 5 years, I've done more in 5 years than I've done in 24. Now, how is that?
Yes.
And people will ask me that, how is that? And I said, well, let me just share this with you. I am a firm believer that when man makes his own decisions and he decides to do the work, he tends to mess that up. But if you are steadfast and you are focused within God and God's word and what God has for you, it is miraculous.
That is the word.
That is the difference.
Yes.
That is the difference. Because I stood there and I listened. Because I wasn't making a move because I had already said, no, I'm not doing it. Now you got to tell me what I got to do. So I stood there and I waited and I listened. And when I listened, I executed. And it has been lovely ever since.
You know what, Kathy? Our stories mirror so because God is all up in our lives. I have done more in 1 year than I have done in my whole life. You're in broadcasting. It was just a passion thing for me. And I never could make that leap to make it become a business. Never could make it happen. But in 1 year, God has been, as you say, miraculous. Now, Kathy, and I have a question for you. Since we know that we can take these leaps, we know with God with God giving green light, we can make our move. Do you think that that's the reason why we can launch out and go from one thing to the next? Do it scared, as they say. You always hear people say, no matter what happens, keep moving. Do it scared. Do you believe that that's the reason why we can go into business, do what we're supposed to do it scared, and be successful? Could that be a key that the ladies can take away concerning this thing of being fearful?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I truly believe in having faith, and you have to believe. Because there's so many naysayers. I was having a conversation yesterday with a young lady who someone had said, the person that you need to talk to is Kathy B. and she found me. And I told her, I said, there are going to be so many naysayers. I have so many naysayers in regards to what it is that I'm doing, because a lot of people know me from mainstream radio and television. And because I don't have a big backing company or a name or whatever, then I can't succeed, you know. And they say, well, what is internet? Well, I mean, internet radio. Well, you use the internet every single day. Yeah, you use it every single day. I don't know what you use it for, but you're using it every single day. So I use it as a business, you know. Yeah. And I will tell you, 5 years ago, I didn't know a whole lot. I mean, technology changes, you know, as soon as we blink our eye. So, and yes, I'm fearful because I don't know if people will be receptive on tomorrow as if they were today. But with that being said, you would never know if you don't take the steps to do so. That to me tells me that whatever your passion, whatever your dreams are, you're putting them aside because you are fearful to understand what the unknown has for you. And I think that's when people begin to become stifled, because they're wanting to know, well, what's on the other side of that door? And if I know what's on the other side of that door, then I can go ahead and open it and I can walk outside. No, that's not how it is. If that's what you want to do, you have to go ahead and go for it. And then it's okay once you're in the middle of it and you're trying to stumble around and fumble around or whatever, just like you said, it is key for you to find those people in the area that are the experts. And I'm telling you, I'm like a sponge. I will soak everything up and take what I learn and implement it that's going to benefit me. Yes. And not only will it benefit me, it will benefit others that are around me. And that's my whole key too, because when I started Source Radio Network, the main word that God placed within me was opportunity. Wow. So opportunity was given to me 24 years ago. So now, with that being said, I got to give others opportunity. Others that want to be in broadcasting or wanted to get into radio but just did not know how to do it. Well, now I am showing them how to do it. And I think that is how, when you have a business and you have God within your business, God wants you to be a helper. Yes. He wants you to help others along because he's giving you the tools to be successful. He's giving you the tools to share as well. Yes. Say that. And serve others greatly. And serve others greatly. That's right. And I think that's how we can become successful, and that's how we will get beyond the fears, too, because you got to jump in. You can't stand at the shore thinking it's going to come to you, because it's not. And it's not going to pull you out to sea. It really isn't. Right. You're going to have to get out there and swim against the current and say, hey, I'm coming. I'm doing this. That's true. That's true. I love it. Source Nation, we are speaking with Margo Lovett. She's given us some wonderful information in regards to her journey. Now, Margo, let's talk about a little bit more of your journey and the fact that you've made that transition out of the corporate world. You're now doing things on your own. Talk to the ladies about having people receive the information that you're wanting to share. How has the reception been for you? That's kind of an interesting question because I just returned back home from Atlanta, my aunt's 90th birthday party. And there were, 104 of us there, and everybody's laughing and talking, and quite a few of us, we hadn't seen each other for years and years. But I had people, I'm always on Facebook, and I have cousins come up and say, girl, I didn't know you had that in you. I had to laugh. I couldn't even be insulted. Girl, you wrote that book?
Margo. Well, people know you back when, And even from people from corporate, all they know is that she quit that good job. How she quit that good job? What's she going to do now? Didn't she have a mortgage? What's she doing? How's she? So you always, as you say, you always have the naysayers, and I've run into that. And then you have the supportive people who only want the best for you. But, baby, when you going to make that first $1 million? You what? How you sure you're going to get that money back, And then you have those that are just plain rah. You know what? You stay transparent. You keep doing what God wants you to do. So it's almost like you have 3 different levels of people, those who are kind of bashers and those that are just, I didn't know you had it in you, but I'm glad for you, And then you have those that are just so, oh, my God, you motivate them and you see their eyes light up with hope, the thought that she did that. Now I probably can too, and I'm going to. I've had some of my friends say, I'm going to do that. I've received emails from the show that really helped me. That last segment helped me, and I am going to write my book. I have to. So those are the kind of responses that I have received since I stepped on out and just said, be transparent. Just do you, and this is what happens.
Love it. Now, you said another word, Margo, that I love is the word transparency. And this is something that I've spoken with the ladies here in the lounge on several shows, where being transparent is a fearful place too, because now you're at the point where you're the most vulnerable, and you are sharing information that you necessarily may not be comfortable in talking about or having someone know. But I really feel that if you are transparent, that is an area, to me, of growth, okay? Because it is now positioning you to speak beyond the fear. It's now positioning you to be in a place where you can now begin to help as well as be a blessing to someone else. What are your thoughts about transparency, and is that very important when you are reinventing yourself?
When you are reinventing yourself, it is imperative that you be transparent. All of the guests on my show, our conversations just go there. I had one person come on, and she just was bold, wide open about how she stole money from the corporation that she worked at, and she moved to another state, and she thought that they were going to just kind of give her house arrest or something like that. They prosecuted her. She had to go to prison. She lost her family. These are the kind of conversations that I've had with people on my show, and they impact greatly. I found that people like authenticity, and that's a term that we throw around all the time. But if I can connect with you as, man, you went through that, you did that, and look at you now, people are right there. That thing of transparency is what all of my guests bring. So we've been on the air for the last 8 months now, and my strategist said, okay, everybody listens to the conversations, and nobody knows Margo Lovett. It's time to write that book. And Kathy B., I was very, very nervous because I knew there was no way I could have my guests come on. We have a conversation that is always transparent, and I write some little lip popper, as I like to say, book where everything's neat and packaged, and you're just this and you're that. I had to really reveal some things about myself, like when I came out of corporate, my health was bad, mental and physical, and I had to go to a therapist to get myself back together before I could do anything. I mean, and these things, it was like, what are you doing? What are you saying? But no, be transparent. I'm stumbling now because I think about the book, Her Business, Her Voice, Her Reinvention, which is my story, my book, and it called for me to just take the mask off, be nitty-gritty. I was in first grade twice. Who would know that? But you have to tell people that because you're back. The back end of the story is so rich of failure and shameful things until everybody needs to know that so that they can better understand how you came out of that and where you are now. How are you stepping in faith and making these successful strides? How are you doing that? With abuse, and I did leave that out of the book, but abuse, 19 years old, jumped on by a man, and only way he got out of the house was his brother jumped in and held him down while I flew down the stairs. All those things. And those are things that my parents and, from my generation, I'm a baby boomer, we readily don't talk about a lot of that, but I had to. So I know that's a long story of it, but I had to be transparent. And I think if you were going to reach the millennials, if we're going to reach anybody and change anybody's destiny, first we have to show up real. And people can smell a phony a mile away. Nobody has time for that. Nobody.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Great information, and you're definitely right. Nobody has time for that. I find that when we are transparent, when we are authentic, those are the best stories and examples to learn from. I think that, people can learn a lot when they're able to be that vulnerable. I can tell you, having to talk about the fact that, I worked for one of the number one television companies in the world, really, and having to say that, no, they didn't want to renew my contract. Looking back on it, I think it was just the fact that they felt like they needed someone fresh, new, and young,
Wow.
And I can turn on the television now and see that the journalists that I worked with back then, they're not even on as much. They're still there, but they're not on as much. They have the new fresh faces, the new younger folks coming in and holding down the chairs that we once sat in, So I get that. I get that. And, I sit back and I said, that was then, but how are we going to make the now work for us?
Yes.
So I want to talk about that because we also do that too, where we dwell in the past and we don't recognize what we have right in front of us and how awesome and great we can be if we just stay in tune to that. What are your thoughts about that, Margo?
It takes me to, I'm looking at the title of the book that I'm honored to be a part of, 19 Other Women, Women Inspiring Nations. I think that when you come to the place where you understand that there's something else for you to do, come to those terms whatever way you have to, whatever way you do, but come to terms and understand that you are to be an inspiration and you can move on, and there's much for you to do, and people are watching you. Even if they're not saying anything, they want the good for you, or even if they want the bad for you, you are on somebody's radar. So you owe it to yourself. You owe it to those that are around you. You owe it to those who are waiting to meet you. You owe it to the world to be your best and get your feet back on the ground and just move forward, because in this day and age, there are people who are willing to help you. There are people who will consult with you and help you get back on track. Everybody's not a crab in the barrel. There are people who will, as I say, stand at the chalkboard with you. So there's really no reason why we can't get our feet back up under our body and get on track and understand where we're supposed to go and get there. Get there and be effective. You know, I just feel that with such passion because we all have something to do. We look at the world and things are winding down quickly. That's just my belief. We don't have time to be petty and play coy and play like we know it all. Reach out, get the help, yoke up with people who can help you move along. You'll help them move along, and we're all going to be better off. We're all going to prosper. We're all going to be happy. We're all going to motivate each other, you know?
Mhm. I love it. I love it. You know, as we are wrapping up this great conversation, Margo, you know, one thing that I love to do is either leave the ladies with some inspiring words or maybe some tips and advice that we have not shared in tonight's conversation. Would love for you to do so at this time.
Let me say once again, I have enjoyed this conversation with you, lady. Oh, you are an inspiration, and
thank you.
I bow to you because for you to leave a major network, see the handwriting, first of all, face the handwriting on the wall and make your move and expand yourself and walk into the shoes of doing much more in 5 years than you did in 26 years. Kudos to you. You're the lady. What can I say? You are the lady. I bow before you. Hey, really and truly. And my last thought is I want people to know that you always have to step up. And when I say step up, you have to say yes to and commit to what you're going to do, that reinvention, whatever part of reinvention you're going to enact, commit to it. And then you have to speak up. Find out ask people, who are the mentors, who are the strategists, where are these people in the industry that I want to move into, or maybe I have to enlarge my territory over in it. Where are these people? Where are the books? And just step up, speak up, and show up. Always network. Always go to the conferences. I always believe in being on the front row. You know, don't shrink to the back. Show up, step up, and speak up. You're going to be okay. You're going to reinvent yourself, and there are going to be people along the way to help you, and you will be successful.
Awesome. Well, Margo, I want to thank you again for coming in tonight and giving us some wonderful information in regards to reinventing yourself and not being fearful in doing so. So I want to thank you. If you will, share with the ladies here in the lounge and everyone listening tonight, where can we get more information about you? I continue to support you in your efforts.
Oh, I appreciate that. I really appreciate that greatly. I, of course, one of the awesome authors of Women Inspiring Nations, and I know that we are on Facebook, WIN number 18. I know that in January 2018, that book is due to come out. So I would just direct people to WIN 18. The number 18 on Facebook. And for myself, www.herbusinesshervoice.com. That's where you can purchase another one of my books. It's my first book, and it went Amazon best-selling author, which I am grateful for, Her Business, Her Voice, Her Reinvention. And then I really encourage people to go to the radio show, www.bashani.com. BSHANI radio.com. That's where you're going to hear the awesome stories of people who have been there, done that. They're giving actionable tips. They stand ready to be your mentor, your strategist. They are ready to be your therapist, your branding agent. I bring people on who will really help you get to that next level during your reinvention process.
Awesome. I love it. Well, Margo, again, thank you so much for coming in this evening and giving us some great information. We are definitely looking forward to hearing more great things from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a great evening.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, Source Nation, you heard it right there from Miss Margo Lovett. Gave us some great information in reference to reinventing yourself. What I love most about this conversation was the fact that Margo stated, you must not be fearful. Be fearful of the move that you're wanting and desiring to make. I often share my story here on the Ladies Lounge, and I stated that, coming from corporate America, working in broadcasting, now owning my own radio station was something that I did not think would happen 5 years ago. But God spoke to me and said that this was what he wanted me to do, because there were so many people like yourselves that are wanting valuable information that at the time really mainstream media was not providing. But we have been able to make a difference within the last 5 years. So why am I saying this? And why did Margo say what she stated? Was the fact that if you are right now feeling as though you are wanting to make a change in your life, it's not too late to do so. Those dreams, those passions, whatever it is that you have put aside for whatever reason, this is the season now for you to begin to cultivate and make it great. Make it great for you and others that are around you. So get on out there and do it. Stop being scared. Don't be scared. Just do it. Love the information that Margo has shared with us tonight. Of course, you can go over to Cassie B, Source Radio Network, as well as our main station page, Source Radio Network, to hear more about Margo and definitely Sunita. Now, the book that we are speaking from, and I'm so glad that these young ladies are coming into the studio to share with us, is Women Inspiring Nations. Source Nation, let me tell you, you do not want to miss this, because we have 19 fabulous, dynamic, amazing women sharing their personal journeys with us. So you definitely have to tune in. Guys, thank you so much for being here. We look forward to having you back again next week for the Ladies Lounge. Be blessed.